top somehow. stop somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
My Straight Talk family, I want to profusely apologize for what seemed to be a real mix-up here tonight. I was live and I was not even aware of that, my Straight Talk family, because my own program here was showing me something entirely different. So I must apologize for you. To you, rather, and in the process, say a very pleasant night to you on the worldwide. Say a very pleasant night to the world, my Straight Dog family. I want to say good night to the entire Caribbean region. And first of all, I must say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis. And I know that we do have listeners all around the globe, like I said. I know that some of you are in the Kittitian and Nevision diaspora all over the globe. Some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Asia. There's some of you in Europe. And there's some of you, a whole lot of you, all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good afternoon, and I can also say good evening, my Straight Talk family. Because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I do have first timers. And for the first timers, I want to welcome you and to thank all those who continue to share that link. When you share that link, we do get first timers, and I'm eternally grateful for that. And for the first timers, I want to inform you that we are a public service program that facilitates free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, be they social, economic, and or political issues. On this program, we try to raise the level of consciousness, national consciousness, regional consciousness, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. I know my sweet Straight Talk family, yes, you're not seeing me on the screen. We are sorting that matter out. I want you to see me, yes, but we are live nonetheless, and I thank Almighty God for that. And as your host, I pledge to be an untiring advocate of truthfulness. As I'm always reminded of a favorite hymn of mine, which an excerpt goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, searching for the truth and speaking for the truth and right. We are standing firm for godly justice and bringing evil things to light. So let's seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, I can assure that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program, neither by omission nor by exaggeration. We are not about creating excitement, my Straight Talk family. We lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty to present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in our beloved country, my Straight Talk family. And there's some of you who may be joining me for the first time, and I welcome you again. And just to inform you that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday, every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. There's some of you we know very well. There's some of you we have never met. And some of us will agree with the positions of truth, because we have tried to advance positions of truth on this program. And some may disagree, but that's what life and this program is all about. But please do not disappoint me and start to become disagreeable. Let us in the meantime thank Almighty God for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let's therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, those who share the link. First time, just to let you know that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and we include your emails. If you also mind calling, the numbers are on your monitors, 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. There are those of you who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. By that, I mean you do not want to be heard. And I understand clearly why. Because in St. Kitts, we have a leadership or leaders that are so vindictive. But nonetheless, we give you access by our email platform that addresses straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. We also heard live on Alexa. And you have that app, just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. And we thank the ownership for providing that access at a nominal cost. And as I say cost, there's some of you who continue to provide or make donations to support our efforts. For that, I say a big, big thank you. I must also reassure you that no matter what your contribution is, it helps us to continue this important service. Yes, it's a public service. Others who may wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen, a very simple process, and you get your access. You access the payment form. Very simple process. So thank you again for your support, and please don't stop. Please continue. And I can't ever, I'll tell you this each time, move forward without saying a special welcome to my junior brigade, young Dwayne, young Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, Soraya. That's the good friend of my grandson, Neymar. Neymar, if I don't hail him, I'll be in trouble. How is the special lady in St. Louis as well? And my Straight Talk family, I started a bit late tonight. We normally have our observation in review. Very important, very integral part of our program. After our observation in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, titled Disgraced Attorney General AG Wilkin Offends Nation with his fair share comments. So please do not change your platform. Spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Alexa. And I'll move right to my first observation. And as I said, it's a public service, and I do have a public service announcement that relates to Tropics Nevis Untamed. That's my good friend from Cane Juice. And just to reconfirm that event was postponed. That event was postponed because the Ministry of Tourism rolled over this event that's normally held in Nevis on that particular date before or during or before the start of Culturama. And what happened? Came the Grill Fest, which is a big event. And it was successful, I'm told this year, held over there on the Frigate Bay lawn.
So we're here at Grill Fest, the experience is beyond expectations. We have families here, we have locals, we have visitors alike, and everybody is here just blended, having a fantastic time. We have not only food vendors, we have local craftsmen and craftswomen, and I think it's just a fantastic experience. So make sure you're at the next Grill Fest.
It's nice to see everybody just chilling and grooving and having a good time, you know.
Yes, and the Grill Fest was exceptional again. We are told, my Straight Talk family. But Tropics had to be postponed and is postponed, and we do confirm that it will be hosted in Nevis by Cane Juice on the 9th of August. Believe it or not, it's after Culturama, but that's how it is, my Straight Dog family. That's the way it goes this time around. Because our good friend Fonzie, or Fons, my good friend Fons, wanted us to be informed, and he mixed no matters. If you know Fons, as he wrote, the reason for the date change was the abnormal scheduling conflict, and it was not unprecedented. It was perhaps deliberate. As he said, abuse of power, unfair advantage, repeated sabotage tactics, heavy market manipulation, undermining our brand's integrity, and implied character assassination. But if you know the CEO of Cane Juice, he would tell you like he wrote here. We move forward with integrity, passion, and full support of our tribe. Tropics Nevis Untamed will now take place next week. Is it next week? Saturday, the 9th of August. And we guarantee an epic, unforgettable experience that will raise the bar. And that's coming from Cane Juice. And as a public service announcement, as I said, the event is now being held uncharacteristically after Culturama. But I know it's going to be great because quite a lot of petitions, I'm told, head over to Nevis for that particular event. And as if the Grill Fest was not good enough, was not successful enough, there seemed to be a mini Grill Fest that was staged at Port Zante, above all places. The 2 cruise ships came along, and the tents started being erected. What was next? The grills went up. Would you believe that, my Straight Dog family? A fatal error made again by Minister Marshall and her incompetent CEO at UDC. I say fatal because when the concept of constructing a dedicated cruise ship facility, the idea was to ensure that on every call of every cruise ship, we would have what we consider a cascading effect throughout the economy. The hair braiders, the monkey vendors, the taxi drivers. And you'd expect that the restaurants and the bars around the country would benefit from cruise ship calls. But to put grill vendors selling grilled chicken between the owners of the stores at Port Zante, it has to be a fatal error. It's the second time it's happened. And the minister, Marsha Hendrickson, and her CEO at UDC must take heed. We are not saying that the grassroots economy should not benefit, but they must have some order. You can't afford to put these shops or these grills smoking out stores like this. And we must call it for what it is. It is absurd. Find a spot for those who grill the sumptuous chicken, barbecue, lobster, whatever it is. It cannot be right to place them where they were on Tuesday, Marsha Henderson and that lady CEO at UDC. But my Straight Talk family, our second observation is one that hurts my heart. We know that we've been having a long cessation on the murders in the country. I know whatever the Prime Minister you may say about it's a health issue, the fact is that the peace program still continues, albeit by another name called Elevate. The same number of men are on the peace program called Elevate. But I've always had a problem with the peace program, and I will say as well with the Elevate program. There's no one addressing the elephant in the room or the elephants in the room. We call them guns. And because of that, my Straight Dog family, we sadly report another murder in St. Kitts Nevis, this time across the Narrows in Nevis, to be exact, according to this report from NNC's Dennis Wilkinson Keynes, who reported this.
The Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force has launched a homicide investigation following the death of a young man in the Libert Hill area on Tuesday evening, July 29th. Preliminary reports indicate that between 8 and 8:30 p.m., officers from the Newcastle Police Station responded to a call regarding a suspected fatal accident along the Island Main Road near the Methodist Church in Libert Hill. Upon arrival, officers discovered the lifeless body of 27-year-old Xavier Doe of Potworks lying on the roadside near a damaged motor scooter. Initial inquiries suggest that Doe was traveling on his motor scooter toward his residence. Upon reaching the vicinity of the Methodist Church, he was ambushed and shot multiple times by an unknown assailant or assailants. He subsequently lost control of the vehicle, crashed into a nearby utility box, and succumbed to his injuries on the scene.
Very sad news, my Straight Talk family. But those are my observations in review for tonight. I will cut them there tonight. And I do again apologize for my tardy start. It's due to an oversight on my part, my Straight Talk family. It wasn't technical, it was me. And I am not in the I'm not in the IT underclass, I can assure you. But I do apologize for that. And my thesis I titled Disgraced Attorney General Wilkin Offends Nation with his fair share comment. And on an earlier episode of Straight Talk, you will recall that the point was made that Sim Daniels NRP joined with PAM and formed a coalition government, the first one in St. Kitts and Nevis, in 1980. And a few years after, ushered in independence in 1983. But not without ensuring that Nevis, Sim Daniel ensured that Nevis had constitutional guarantees. Excuse me. The Constitution, we said, did not come out of or come from consensus, but was born out of political expedience for one side and a vision for sovereignty on another side. While Kennedy Simmons focused on becoming the first prime minister, Sim Daniel insisted that Nevis must have its own government. And Sim Daniel made certain that the Constitution provided for Nevis, or for a Nevis Island legislature, eventually styled the Nevis Island Assembly. And Sim Daniel also ensured, my Straight Talk family, or made certain that the Constitution provided for his Nevis Island legislature, also that Nevisians had their own government. Daniel ensured that Nevisians had their own government. As per section 102 of the Constitution, and it reads, as you can glean from the top, there shall be a Nevis Island administration which shall consist of A premier, and B, 2 other members, or not less than 2 or more, and each greater number of members as the Nevis Island legislature may prescribe, who shall be appointed by the Governor General. Below to clause subsection 5. It reads, and this is what the late Sim Daniel ensured, that the functions of the administration shall be to advise the Governor General in the government of the island of Nevis. And it continues, my Straight Talk family. Now, Daniel also successfully advocated for the sharing of revenue as stipulated within the Constitution as revenue allocation. And I inadvertently omitted to load that PowerPoint for you. But thirdly, he also insisted that there be an indemnity clause in the Constitution that provides for separation or the separation of Nevis from St. Kitts, as you can also glean from this presentation on your monitors. The Nevis Island Legislature may provide that the island of Nevis shall cease to be federated with the island of St. Christopher, and accordingly that this constitution shall no longer have effect in the island of Nevis. And it goes on to tell you how the process as it relates to the separation of Nevis from St. Kitts. But my Straight Talk family, even with all the said guarantees, conflict persisted. Money, resources, and a lack of transparency poisoned the relationship within the coalition. And Sim Daniel, I believe, left politics a bitter man. I remember he said this, my Straight Talk family.
We have come a long way. We have come a long, long way. And even though we were in the...
I do apologize for that, my Straight Talk family, but he is...
with PAM and a coalition government, and we are supposed to be working together. I cannot forget that there were days when we were low on funds, and the government in St. Kitts had 80% owner of the bank, and I was the one who passed the resolution in the House of Assembly for the government to get 80% control of the bank. And when we sent down our checks, they were told, we can't pay civil servants this month, or we can't pay this week, you must wait till next week. These are coming from our friends. These are coming from our partners. These are coming from people we helped to put into government. And this is the way they were treating us.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. That's the late Sim Daniel himself, speaking of the treatment he got as a member of the coalition. So there's always been this poisonous relationship between parties in Nevis and St. Kitts. But first, my Straight Talk family, with the issue of fair share. I listened to our disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, who said in the first instance that there had never been an order as it relates to the revenue allocation. He said this.
But the Constitution guides us in terms of what is quote-unquote fair share and revenue allocation. It's not a simple formula, because the difficult task which the Governor General must undertake after advice from the Prime Minister, after consultation with the Premier, is to determine what are those common costs, what common services as they are called in the Constitution, and determining how to allocate, when to so should the NIA collect all its taxes, the federal government collect all their taxes, and at the end of the year, you then say, okay, this is how much we've collected, these are the common costs, what is the net? NIA, did you collect 26% of the net? If you did not, then you potentially top them up to what is equivalent to 26%. But key to that, Junie, there's never been an order, as far as I'm aware, by the Governor General under this section, which technically would be the fair share order, which is contemplated by section 110 3.
Well, there was an order, and Lucifer changed his position to say that there was an order, but it never worked. He said this.
Certain processes that require everyone to be on board.
Right.
But there are certain processes that are political in nature. So, as former Premier Parry said, he made the point, well, you were sitting down at a time when you could have figured it out, because you were the Premier sitting in a federal cabinet.
Correct.
So maybe that was, I agree with him, that might have been the most ideal time to present an order. Because you should have been ad idem. In other words, your mind should have been able to meet if you were sitting in a federal government as premier. So, maybe that point has some validity. I don't give a personal view on that. But what my personal view is on 110 reading it, is that you can have an order like we did at the beginning, which was never followed.
But it was totally inaccurate, my Straight Dog family, because there was an order and it worked. As former Premier confirmed on my program, was it on Monday? Yes, that the formula worked for 7 or 8 years. And this, in fact, is what transpired.
Well, first of all, Ian, I want to take you and the listeners right back to 1983. The Constitution provided for a Nevis Island administration, but there was no provision for the administration to start with any money. That in itself was rather strange. Mr. Daniel, being the Minister of Finance in St. Kitts, was able to take $250,000 from the National Bank, the branch in Nevis, to start the administration. Can you imagine a situation like that? The second thing is this: the state of Nevis as against the state of St. Kitts. Electricity, water, roads, no industry, really an agrarian society. Again, no provision was taken into consideration for that. All that was done was that the revenue should be divided on the basis of population. To my mind, that was very unfair. And it is not surprising that the Four Seasons opened in 1991, February, I think. And by 1992, instead of Nevis getting revenue from St. Kitts to run its affairs, the Treasury in Nevis was supposed to send money to St. Kitts after reconciliation. That did not make a lot of sense to me. That did not make a lot of sense to Mr. Daniel. And I suppose it did not make a lot of sense to Mr. Amory.
Yes, my Straight Talk family. The administration of Sim Daniel changed in 1992. And then came a new premier and a new party, the CCM. And Premier Van Swinkworth Emery of blessed memory shared the same view of the NRP and subsequently wrote a letter to Prime Minister Simmons, therein requesting a suspension to the revenue allocation framework. It has since, its suspension remained as it was back then in 1992 until now. And when Premier Amory suspended the revenue sharing agreement and later triggered the secession clause under Section 3. It signaled how deep the divisions between St. Kitts and Nevis have grown or had grown. Although the 1998 referendum may not have succeeded, the message was clear. In an effort to resolve the matter, our third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, approached the World Bank for recommendations. Recall Brantley vehemently objected, saying a sixth form student or some student from the CFBC can do that calculation. But the World Bank report is with us for over 6 months. Yet no resolution is in sight, or so it seems. There is consensus, however, that it is time for the public to be consulted on the said report. I put this to former Premier Parry, who agreed, my straight dog family.
Yes.
Having agreed, do you believe that report should be shared?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
I feel insulted here that my country is being discussed, which of my children and grandchildren discuss. And I don't know. I can't make a contribution. It's being treated like it's something precious that should be held close to the chest of only a few people. That does not make any sense.
No sense at all, my straight dog family, to all those who have objected. Well-known advocate for good governance, Ira McMahon, tried to share his view, my straight dog family. The same view, but was rudely interrupted several times by the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin, as he attempted to say that such an important constitutional matter should not be left to the chemistry of a Prime Minister and a Premier. And this was the view of Ira McMahon, who tried to say this, albeit he was rudely interrupted each time, my straight dog family. Rudely interrupted by Garth Lucifer Wilkin every time he tried to make his point, my straight dog family. He was never allowed to make his point.
At a particular time in the history of a country, agree on the allocations, and the people do not agree with what they have agreed with, they can take it to a vote at the next election and reflect their disagreement with their ex.
That's the whole point, right? You can't have something dependent on things like the personal chemistry between the Premier and the
So who should decide then?
Minister.
Exactly.
Right?
What should it depend on?
Although they represent constituencies, right? What I'm saying is that there are certain things that should be held sacrosanct.
Okay, so it should be.
We have not we have not guided by the provisions in the Constitution.
I understand.
I think I'm going to replay that, my straight talk family, because I suspect, even as I've heard it from the beginning.
I honestly feel that this is a recipe for continued problems. Right? You can't have something as important as this being left to the vagaries of politics. Okay? You just can't.
What do you mean by politics in this context?
It's a recipe for confusion.
You listening? The AG has a question.
What do you mean by politics in that statement?
Okay, it depends on the outcome of elections.
Yes, but that's how the people choose. The people choose the decision makers. So if they disagree,
You know that the Constitution isn't something that you just go and change willy-nilly.
No. But the Constitution is clear. What the Constitution says is that the Premier and the Prime Minister must agree on matters such as common services and allocations. So it means that if a Premier and a Prime Minister at a particular time in the history of a country agree on the allocations and the people do not agree with what they have agreed with, they can take it to a vote at the next election and reflect their disagreement with their ex.
That's the whole point, right? You can't have something dependent on things like the personal chemistry between the Premier and the
So who should decide then?
Minister.
Exactly.
Right?
What should it depend on?
Although they represent constituencies, right? What I'm saying is that there are certain things that should be held sacrosanct.
Okay, so it should be. It should be.
We have not guided by the provisions in the Constitution.
I understand.
My straight talk family, you recognize McMahon couldn't even get in a word because of the rude interruption from this disgraced Attorney General. But Lucifer Wilkin made his point clear when he said this, my straight talk family.
Prime Minister and the Premier are servants of the public.
Yes.
So what the public, who they serve, you see, it's difficult because you remember we are fortunate to live in a very democratic society.
Yes.
Where there are lots of different opinions on many different things. We're one of the most opinionated publics in the world, given our size and population. So think about it from a practical perspective. Imagine a Prime Minister going to a press conference or a town hall in each constituency in St. Kitts and saying, I've received a report, and this is, in other words, technical advice, and this is what the report is suggesting I should negotiate with the Premier about Section 110.3, a Section 110.3 order. Think about if every single decision had to go to a town hall, then nothing will get done. At the end of the day, people elect, if you go to the foundation of our democracy, people in different constituencies elect a leader to make decisions on their behalf and represent their interests in Parliament and sometimes Cabinet. And I also disagree with somebody, let's go into Parliament. You don't have to do that. The Constitution says what you do.
Offensive is a response I hear or heard from all who listen. I'm not therefore before you tonight as a mere voice of opposition, my people, but as a voice of conscience, a voice that echoes the just demands of a people too long denied their rightful seat at the table where decisions of national importance are made. For decades now, the question of fair share has loomed large over our federation, A question that goes to the very heart of our unity, our democracy, and our dignity. Government, my straight dog family comes and goes. The fair share issue is a question that remained unresolved, that led to the implosion of the Team Unity government, driven apart by internal strife, mistrust, and the persistent demand from Nevis for what it deserves, and perhaps rightfully so. Equity in the distribution of national revenue, particularly from our Citizenship by Investment program. A program built not on the sweat of one island, but on the strength and stability of the entire federation. And now, with a new administration in place, one would think that we have turned the page. One would hope for a new era of accountability, transparency, and inclusion. But instead, we are met with troubling words from none other than the Attorney General of this land, a man sworn to uphold justice, who has declared on public radio that the people should not have access to the World Bank report that outlines how the revenues of our federation ought to be shared. And let me be clear, that is not just wrong. It is offensive. It is undemocratic. It is dangerous. The Attorney General claims that because the Constitution grants the Prime Minister and Premier the authority to determine how non-tax revenue, like CBI proceeds, are allocated, the people need not be consulted. But I ask you this, Attorney General, what is a constitution if not a living document made for and by the people? What is governance if it excludes the governed? Even if the Constitution assigns authority to leaders, that does not strip the people of their right to be informed, to be heard, and to be respected. Leadership is not a license for secrecy. Constitutional power is not permission to disregard the public stake in public wealth. Let us not forget, however, though the CBI program generates non-tax revenue, it is public money all the same. It flows not from private enterprise, but from the Federation's sovereign right, a right invested, or a right vested, I should say, in all of us. Every dollar collected belongs to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, not to one island, not to one cabinet, not to one man. And so, the people have a right, not a request, not a favor, but a right to see that report. They have a right to scrutinize the recommendations that will shape the financial future of both islands. They have a right to vote their concerns, to question the fairness of any proposal, and to demand justice where injustice has long prevailed. Transparency is not a burden, it is a duty. Accountability is not optional, it is essential. And consultation is not a formality, it is the cornerstone of democracy. Tonight, I say this to you, Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. You may quote the letter of the Constitution, but we will invoke the spirit of that Constitution. You may advise the Prime Minister and his cabinet to withhold the World Bank report, but we will not be silenced. You may dismiss public consultation, but we will demand it in town halls, in parliament, and in the streets if necessary. The days of closed-door governance are over. The era of people-powered democracy is here. Let the report be made public. Let the people be heard. and let justice guide the path to a fair share, not just for Nevis, because it is a national issue. We seek justice for St. Kitts Nevis. We demand justice for all of us. We will not accept anything less, was said when the disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin offends the nation with his fair share comments. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure, my Straight Dog family, that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, my Straight Dog family, I go to the lines and entertain our first call at 4 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour and say good night to our first caller. You are live on Straight Talk. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Not hearing this caller. Okay, let me try this other call in the meantime. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller?
Yes, good night.
Yes, caller, you're live.
For all the listeners. Far and near.
Good night, sir.
I hope that the people of St. Kitts are listening. It is very important, folks. Listen to what's going on into your country. Now, let me comment on the Attorney General and their selfish ways after the people has put their trust in them to make decisions which should be transparent, and they are holding back information like the people that put them there are dummies. They cannot interpret. And it is so wrong to disrespect the people. Those who are sitting down as ministers were given the chance to represent the people. And the people is their boss. But they turn it around that they are the boss and they are the elitists. Well, why did they shift on the people? Because right now it is we against them. But like you said, at the polls, at the voting booths, that's when there will be a dynamic change, because they have turned to dictators and they have turned to the only educated set of people on the planet. And it is wrong. People of St. Kitts, the only decision and the only thing you can do is to strike your profound decision at the ballot, whatever day has been decided. Don't give these people a chance again. Once bitten, twice shy. Don't be shy. Make a hearty vote. And last but not least, I think it is best if you all vote for independence. I haven't heard any woman who is coming in as an independent. It should have been mixed. Women, are you listening? You are qualified to vote. You are qualified to run politics. But I'll leave it there and I'll come back in again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear. I hope you weren't the one trying to get in, were you?
Yes.
I do apologize.
No, it's okay. No man is above the law.
No man is above the law.
And no man is below it.
No man below it.
No, do we ask any man's permission?
Do we ask any man permission?
Yes, when we require him to obey it.
When we require him
to obey it.
to obey it.
I repeat, no man is above the law, and no man is below it. Nor do we ask any man's permission when we require him to obey it. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. Thank you for your quotations. Always very thought-provoking. No man is above the law. No man below it. Or do we ask any man permission when we require him to obey it? Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, good evening to you, the listeners home and abroad. I have a theory. Whenever anyone says St. Kitts, they have to realize that St. Kitts is not a federation by itself. You know, it should nearly be like a law that whenever anyone in St. Kitts and Nevis mention the federation, they should not be just saying St. Kitts alone. We are a federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, 2 islands, technically 1 country, but we're only separated by 2 miles of water.
One lovely paradise.
One lovely paradise.
Yes.
As the St. Kitts man, or the Nevis man that was born in St. Kitts would say.
Yes.
And we have a lot of those type of people down in St. Kitts who have left Nevis shores, went down to St. Kitts for opportunities, and somehow there's a lot of them down there who possibly forgot their roots and their family back on the Nevis hand. Anyway, Patches, there's an independent female that's out of St. Thomas's Parish, Nevis, Cleon Stapleton, and we need to also know that. We need to be informed with what's going on the ground. We may want more females, but there's a female that's there already. I could talk from, some source. I've spoken to her directly myself. She's up in the next election as an independent candidate of the St. Thomas's, Nevis. Anyway, Patches, when I listened to that AG on Freedom FM the other day, yesterday, whenever that was, you know what, I listened very carefully, and I'm taking in the historical part of the conversation. Indeed, there's a lot of people on the ground. They're defending and they're deflecting. Why? Because they're getting their palms greased up. And then there's a set of people in the Federation who think that they're so smart. They got more degrees than a thermometer. And Patches, for 41 years that this CBI program been running, is a S-load of money that came into past there. Some persons on the ground been working in banks, and they've been duped for 41 years. Not until we start talking against the corruption. Not until Philippe Martinez exposed them. I started talking about corruption on here for some years now, and the corruption still remains. When I listened to the AG, somebody called in and said, "Oh, he had a great presentation this afternoon." Man, Patches, that person, I'm not going to call it a name on here. They know who they are. We cannot just be defending all the time. It doesn't matter if this is your party in power. You know, labor people is only calling into labor, so-called labor stations. PAM people are only calling into such radio stations. We don't see no labor people calling in here in your podcast. We ain't seen no NRP people calling in on Mark's show over in Nevis. You know, we got to be more diversified with our opinions and our views. You know, right now, the Premier is taking a lot of licks on Nevis, and I just want to see, like the AG says, put that X on that ballot. Yeah, McMahon had a lot of ideas, a lot of views that day, and they keep cutting him off as well. But Patches, man, this fair share thing is back on the table again, and I can't see why, if the Constitution dictates this revenue sharing, why is the Constitution being broken? Isn't that the law of the land? Patches, if you break the law, what happens to you? If any one of these politicians in high offices is going against what the Constitution states, they have broken their oaths. They have broken their oaths and they're breaking the law. They're breaking the rule of the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. We're still arguing over fair share. I heard this when I was a little boy in Cotton Ground, man. I left Nevis in 1985, and we still, up to this day, arguing and carrying on between these two islands about this fair share and revenue sharing. Man, this is a shame. There's bigger fish to fry, man. We have the Premier and the Prime Minister, when the AG spoke, it's as if, like, when you listen to the AG, that means these two persons, they're hijacking the Constitution. How could two people hijack the Constitution? This is a national issue again, and the people is failing to hit the streets. Man, you always looking at what's going on in Africa. Every day there's protests in Africa. The people are rising up on the continent. We need to follow suit. If we don't follow suit and don't protest peacefully in our streets, these politicians are going to keep doing what they're getting away with. And I'll leave it there for now, Patches, man. But if we don't rise up and stand up, we'll be talking about this another 40 years. Believe that. Me, myself, being on this radio station for some years now, and you could imagine people like McMahon and those other guys, they've been on here for like, what, 30 years? He can call in and tell me how long he's been on the radio talking. And other persons can do that as well. But we are not taking the action. The place is like a lawless place. And if someone rise up out the ashes and put down that big stick on Sinkis Nevis, then you're going to call him a dictator. But guess what? It appears like Sinkis and Nevis needs such person like that. The place is out of order and in a mess. I wait to see a peaceful protest in the street. That's it. When that happens, you make my phone number be the first. Put my number on speed dial. You call me and let me know when there's a protest in the street of Basley or Charlestown.
Okay, my brother.
You guys have a good night, man. You guys have a good night. Thanks.
Have a good night. I just want, if that caller can hold for a second, I didn't want to interrupt the caller, but in fact, the fair share worked for about, not really fair share, take that back. The revenue allocation, as per the Constitution, worked for about 7 or 8 years. And it went wrong in 1992 when everything was put into the pool. Then Nevis would have had to send money to St. Kitts, as explained here by Joe Parry. This is what happened.
Well, first of all, Ian, I want to take you and the listeners right back to 1983. The Constitution provided for a Nevis Island administration, but there was no provision for the administration to start with any money. That in itself was rather strange. Mr. Daniel, being the Minister of Finance in St. Kitts, was able to take $250,000 from the National Bank the branch in Nevis, to start the administration. Can you imagine a situation like that? The second thing is this: the state of Nevis as against the state of St. Kitts. Electricity, water, roads, no industry, really an agrarian society. Again, no provision was taken into consideration for that. All that was done was that the revenue should be divided on the basis of population. To my mind, that was very unfair. And it is not surprising that the Four Seasons opened in 1991, February, I think. And by 1992, instead of Nevis getting revenue from St. Kitts to run its affairs, the Treasury in Nevis was supposed to send money to St. Kitts after reconciliation. That did not make a lot of sense to me. That did not make a lot of sense to Mr. Daniel. And I suppose it did not make a lot of sense to Mr. Amory.
It did not make sense to Vance Amory. He was the one who wrote to then Prime Minister Kennedy Simmons, therein requesting a suspension of the framework. And that's what happened back then and still continues as we speak. Yes, caller, I do apologize for having you on hold for some time, but I wanted to get that point out. It's not that it just stopped like that. It did in fact work for, I think, about 7 or 8 years. I believe the government change mid-year, May or June, an NRP change, and in came the CCM, and Vance Amory could not support the sending of money down to St. Kitts. So there has always been issues as it relates to the fair share or revenue sharing, I must say. A pleasant good evening, Patches. Reads this email. I'll take some emails. In the meanwhile, I wait on your calls. Please allow me to make a few comments regarding the Nevis geothermal issue. Every Jack, man, and Jill woman in St. Kitts Nevis is aware that a loan guarantee is an individual or entity who base on trust, care, and respect for the borrower. Guarantees to repay the debt if the borrower fails to repay it. Lending agencies typically ask for a guarantor if the borrower's income or credit rating barely makes the loan requirements, or the loan amount is high, or the repayment tenure is long. No guarantor get any share of the loan, as the benefits is to the borrower. Now, the statement made recently by the Honorable Spencer Brand on your Van Radio regarding political suicide is the true and express feelings of every division, as divisions will prefer for the Nevis Island administration to keep the geothermal issue until a later time than to enter into any form of share ownership of our geothermal resources with St. Kitts. The agreement that division expect the Nevis Island administration to give to the federal government is a commitment of free electricity to St. Kitts for 30 years. Then thereafter, St. Kitts will begin to pay Nevis for our resource. Barring such, any Nevis government will be considered to have committed political suicide, because they will surely be booted from office with a vengeance. Thank you, Patches. Reads this email. Very interesting email. Wow. The NIA needs $400 million US. That's over 1 billion EC dollars from some investor or from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to get that geothermal resource going. But the lines are open, my straight dog family. That has to do with geothermal, very important issue as well. And there was some talk about the sharing of geothermal revenue. I believe I heard the Premier saying that it was discussed just yesterday at a joint cabinet meeting, joint meaning the cabinet of the federal government and of the NIA, both cabinets, we understand, made or met yesterday. So there are some interesting times ahead, and things ought to be sorted out sooner rather than later, my straight dog family. Good evening, Patches reads this email. Warm regards from Auckland, New Zealand. Yeah. It is true you can find a petition anywhere in the world, even down under. You are absolutely correct when you describe Attorney General Wilkin as disgrace. But I want you to know he's also a disgusting human being. It is his total arrogance and belief in the privilege system that underpinned his actions in deducting monies from his nanny's meager wages for Social Security and then refusing to pay those over to the Social Security Board. Yes, Auckland, down under. You are following the news, no doubt. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, I thank you for holding your line. Hello, caller? Yes, caller, you're live.
Mr. Patrick, good night.
Good night. Sounds like the Bible man. How art thou tonight?
Yeah, the Bible man is here.
Yes, Bible man.
I want to say something to you. I am going to read in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. You wait here, Mr. Patrick. If my people shall call by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their
wicked ways. Yes.
Then I shall hear, and I shall hear, and I shall forgive. Listen, turn from the wicked ways, and I shall hear and forgive their sins, and I shall heal the land. Now, Mr. Patrick, I am going to tell you something. Now, when I listen that I am going to preach the word of God, Mr. Patrick, because when I listen to people coming over talking about the thing, the word of God is more important and the straight talk. And let people know, Mr. Patrick, I am not going to tell the long. And let people know that God that rules the whole universe in Psalm 75, it says, promotion neither comes from the east,
nor the
west,
nor the south,
north, and the south.
Yes.
Promotion comes from God.
True.
He takes it, he pull it and put up.
Put it down one, set it up the other.
And so, I want to say to you, how much minutes I have, Mr. Patrick?
You've used all your minutes. I'll give you 10 more seconds.
You 10 minutes. How much you just get? How much you get?
I'll give you 10 seconds. You had 2 minutes and 30 seconds already. Make your
30
point.
seconds.
No, you have 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Make your point. Make
If
your
I
point.
can't preach the word of God, I better run a company straight to brother.
Yeah, but you can't have a sermon here when we're having these discussions every night. Just read something.
Yes, I understand that.
Make your point. Make your point.
I understand that, Mr. Patrick.
Make your point. Make your point.
I understand that. And if I can tell you, say you, I can listen to the wax man will come out. How much minutes he going to take? See you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night, Mr. Bible Man. Instead of debating, what you should do is use the time you have, you know. Whatever time you have, just use it. But thanks a lot. We always welcome your interventions. I expect you to read some passages of scripture and not to give us a sermon each time. But we always welcome you, Mr. Bible Man, and don't look at the other man at all. Please don't. This other email reads. This email reads, be with me, my straight dog family. Drew is smart. He waited 3 years to collect the jail money, and now that he spent it and CBI is collapsing, he is ready to talk fair share of CBI. Is there something to share at this stage? Brantley got played. Drew played Brantley like a fool, reads this email. Very interesting email. No man is above the law. No man is below it. Nor do we ask any man permission when we require him to obey it. And that's our quotation for tonight. We go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for calling your live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, caller.
This is the Major.
Major, how are you tonight?
Why?
You didn't fall asleep tonight.
Yes, I was just I started to shake up.
Okay.
I started to give you a shake up.
A shake up.
You
Okay.
listen?
I'm listening. I always listen to you. I'm at attention and listening.
My mother always used to say, dealing with stiff-necked people, and she said, that is the only word, that's the only word she used. And she used it by saying, loosen up. Loosen up, Joseph, loosen up. But you know, that flexibility is not simple. You know that, isn't it?
Yes.
Flexibility is not simple. And I, as a former soldier, the word of command is to change your direction, but not your formation. You hear that?
Yes. I'm an old cadet. I'm an old cadet too.
Well, you could have hold on. Maybe you might have been under my command. You never know.
I might have been a major like you, right?
Huh?
I might have been a major like you.
Surely.
Yes.
Surely. You know, what she used to say, Joseph, you can't be stiff-necked, because flexibility is as simple. And you know that.
Yes.
You know that. And she always said, and in the military, we always say, change your formation, but not your direction, or change your direction, but not your formation. What do you think about that?
Yes. Well, I'm here thinking in the context of what we are discussing tonight, that, you know, that the government has shown no flexibility, you know, in applying its different policies, you know, and even in the issue we're discussing as it relates to the fair share, you know, it's it's as if it's their secret, you know?
Yes.
I mean, we ought to know what was collected. We're not begging them. When you listen to the Attorney General, the Constitution may assign authority to leaders, as I said earlier, but it does not strip the people of their right to be informed, to be heard, and to be respected, you know? So we want to need them to change the formation, but not the direction. And that's what you're saying?
Yeah, it's everybody. You see, what they said, my mother always said to me, Joseph, people are very stiff-necked.
Yep.
They don't want to be flexible because, flexibility is not simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know that?
Yes.
You know that? You know that ship's the powerhouse, eh? You know that? You know what you know, and you know she was a powerhouse.
Oh, yes. Uncle Storm?
Then when I think about Sister Jimmy, she was a headmaster. That's how I told me. She was the teacher. And she always said, Joseph, flexibility ain't easy. Yes. And as in the military, she said, change your direction but not your formation, or change your formation but not the direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Major. Always come with some thought-provoking interventions, you know. Flexibility, right? It gives you the ability to be easily modified. Yes, my Straight Dog family. You may have just joined me. We are discussing our theme for tonight. Disgraced AG Wilkin offends the nation with his fair share comments. And when someone was trying to make their point, he just rudely interrupted.
I honestly feel that this is a recipe for continued problems. Right? You can't have something as important as this being left to the vagaries of politics. Okay? You just can't.
What do you mean by politics in this context?
It's a recipe for confusion.
You listening? The AG has a question.
What do you mean by politics in that statement?
Okay, it depends on the outcome of elections.
Yes, but that's how the people choose. The people choose the decision makers. So if they disagree,
you know that the Constitution isn't something that you just go and change willy-nilly.
No. But the Constitution is clear. What the Constitution says is that the Premier and the Prime Minister must agree on matters such as common services and allocations. So it means that if a Premier and a Prime Minister at a particular time in the history of a country agree on the allocations and the people do not agree with what they have agreed with, they can take it to a vote at the next election and reflect their disagreement with their ex.
That's the whole point, right? You can't have something dependent on things like the personal chemistry between the Premier and the
So who should decide then?
Minister.
Exactly.
Right?
What should it depend on?
Although they represent constituencies, right? What I'm saying is that there are certain things that should be held sacrosanct.
Okay, so it should be.
We have not guided by the provisions in the Constitution.
I understand.
Well said, Iro. And ask yourself this, my Straight Dog family. What is a constitution if not a living document made for and by the people? What is governance if it excludes the governed? Two pertinent questions we must ask, my Straight Dog family, when people are going around chatting nonsense. Patches, it is quite obvious that after doing the calculation, the amount of money that St. Kitts should transfer to Nevis is less than what Nevis was getting from the Tim Harris-led unity government. Hence the silence by Mark. In all fairness to the Attorney General, he explained the complexity of the formula as in the Constitution. That is what Mark once said a sixth former can do. A very immature approach to the complexities of running the finances of Nevis. Very immature. Agreed. Reads this email. And yes, my straight talk family, you may have joined me late, and I did start somewhat late, and I apologize for that. That was an oversight on my part. I wasn't even aware that I was live, when in fact I was. So do accept my apologies, my straight dog family. But for those of you who joined me late, we are discussing tonight our thesis, Disgraced Attorney General Wilkin offends nation with his fair share comment. And my straight talk family, the well-known advocate, I was going to say, or before that, I must state that in an effort to resolve this matter of fair share, and we strongly believe from this platform that Nevis deserves its rightful share of any revenue generated by the state, the federation, based on the Constitution. There is this view that the Constitution makes no provisions for non-tax revenue. I am strong in the view that it is all about economic classifications, and non-tax and tax revenue can be approached in a similar manner. But we have a World Bank report with us for over 6 months, going on to 8 months, I believe. Yet no resolution is in sight, or so it seems. There is a consensus that it is time for the public to be consulted on the said report. And we believe, and my guest who was here on Monday believe, former Premier Parry, that it must be shared. The report must be shared. And I believe every person almost concurs.
Yes.
Having agreed, do you believe that report should be shared?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
I feel insulted, Ian, that my country is being discussed, which of my children and grandchildren discuss. And I don't know. I can't make a contribution. It's being treated like it's something precious that should be held close to the chest of only a few people. That does not make any sense.
Cannot make any sense, my straight dog family. Not at all. Because, as I mentioned earlier as well, well-known advocate for good governance tried to share his view, but was rudely interrupted by the disgraced Attorney General. Yes, he was.
I honestly feel that this is a recipe for continued problems. right? You can't have something as important as this being left to the vagaries of politics. Okay? You just can't.
What do you mean by politics in this context?
It's a recipe for confusion.
You listening? The AG has a question.
What do you mean by politics in that statement?
Okay, it depends on the outcome of elections.
Yes, but that's how the people choose. The people choose the decision makers. So if they disagree,
that the Constitution isn't something that you just go and change willy-nilly.
No. But the Constitution is clear. What the Constitution says is that the Premier and the Prime Minister must agree on matters such as common services and allocations. So it means that if a Premier and a Prime Minister at a particular time in the history of a country agree on the allocations and the people do not agree with what they have agreed with, they can take it to a vote at the next election and reflect their disagreement with their ex.
That's the whole point, right? You can't have something dependent on things like the personal chemistry between the Premier and the
So who should decide then?
Minister.
Exactly.
Right?
What should it depend on?
Although they represent constituencies, right? What I'm saying is that there are certain things that should be held sacrosanct.
Okay, so it should be.
We have not guided by the provisions in the Constitution.
I understand.
Okay, my straight dog family, go straight back to the lines, and I thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liber. Good night to everyone.
Good night.
You get you with what I spoke to you about Monday night?
No, I should have done this today, but I found myself out of time, I must admit. I can assure you that I'll have it by next program. Okay? If you see him, tell him I'm trying and get in. Okay, I apologize for that. I will have something positive for the next program. I can assure you God's will.
Yes. Okay. I hope you will do that for me because I don't talk to him.
Yes, I will.
I think he will call him.
Yes, I will.
I was listening to the house and the Prime Minister. So he talking about
Talking about what?
About people thinking the money and this and that and bullshit and caca and happen and he talking about. The government these people.
You're breaking up, Carl. I don't know what to say. You seem to be breaking up, and I lost you. You weren't hearing clearly what you were saying, but I trust you'll come back. I don't know if it's the area in or it's but I trust that caller will get back in. But Lucifer, although rudely interrupting the caller to the program he was on, made his point clear. Without interruption, he said this.
Prime Minister and the Premier are servants of the public.
Yes.
So what the public, who they serve, you see, it's difficult because you remember we are fortunate to live in a very democratic society.
Yes.
Where there are lots of different opinions on many different things. We're one of the most opinionated publics in the world, given our size and population. So think about it from a practical perspective. Imagine a Prime Minister going to a press conference or a town hall in each constituency in St. Kitts and saying, I've received a report, and this is, in other words, technical advice, and this is what the report is suggesting I should negotiate with the Premier about Section 110.3 a Section 110.3 order. Think about if every single decision had to go to a town hall, then nothing will get done. At the end of the day, people elect, if you go to the foundation of our democracy, people in different constituencies elect a leader to make decisions on their behalf and represent their interests in parliament and sometimes cabinet. And I also disagree with somebody, let's go into parliament. You don't have to do that. The Constitution says what you do.
Yes, my straight dog family. The Constitution, it says what is to be done. But offensive, my straight dog family, is the response I've heard from all who listen. Offensive was the term used by straight dog family. And I said before that I'm not here tonight and on no night whatsoever as a mere voice of opposition. I am here each time as a voice of conscience, a voice that echoes the just demands of a people too long denied their rightful seat at the table where decisions are made. But I go back to the lines and meanwhile, caller, you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller.
Yes.
Yes, where are you calling from? You seem to have a little difficulty with your telephone. Are you there? Hello? Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm hearing you now, but just go ahead. Just go ahead and speak to the telephone.
Okay. What I'm called to $500 that he said he give him for salary at peak time. The 250 in charge. I think he should have put on the other 250. The salary sooner the weekend to and he read all of them. I expecting God want tonight. These parents go to these children to eat, no school. Children. I pray to God that when election comes, he don't want those young men to give them the money to go and put them back inside again. They need to come out because they don't know where they're doing. A lot of parents balling, Mr. Loybard. A lot of parents balling. Eh? What happened to the supermarket, to the rest? He said they were built smart. What happened to Jail France? You go to the pharmacy? You have. They don't have that. What kind of sleep and what kind of girl? That kind of go up here and let it what the government headquarters. And lots of people walk into that. And then they
okay. I do apologize again for that. The call has dropped again. I do apologize for that, my straight dog family. But like one's aunt, always so passionate about with her views, always really look forward to hearing from her as well. And my Straight Talk family, as we are on the uphill side of 10 o'clock, we are still discussing the issue. For decades now, the question of fair share has loomed large over our federation. A question that goes to the very heart of our unity, our democracy, and our dignity. And I heard someone that drew my attention, I should say, to the comments made by the snake, as if he was happy to get onto the campaign again. Here on Straight Talk, what we try to do is to bring you the facts. And the facts are that going back to the coming into independence of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the guarantees that the late Sim Daniel put in place, with all these guarantees, conflict persisted. Money, resources, and a lack of transparency poisoned the relationship, and it will poison any relationship. My Straight Dog family, the issue has not changed since 1992. That's some 33 years ago, when a communication was sent to then Prime Minister Simmons and a suspension to the revenue allocation framework was requested. It has remained suspended even until this day. And my Straight Dog family, in an effort to resolve this matter, because no cabinet, I served in a cabinet for 5 years with 2 premiers, and not one of them, including the current premier, brought that matter to the cabinet. He did not. He preferred to bring a letter and go into a one-on-one discussion with the then Prime Minister. I recall I learned he sent, having gone to the budget and made his presentation at the budget estimates in December. Never came to the cabinet and asked the cabinet to increase the allocation to Nevis. He came with his letter January asking for a nigh 100% increase. And he got it. He got the increase, and till this day, he's getting that increase. Terence Drew has done nothing for him, nothing new. Although he mashed up a government for 3 years now, he has got nothing extra from Terence Drew. He boasts of getting 25% of grant funding, which I find so absurd because St. Kitts Nevis don't get much grant funding. And when St. Kitts Nevis do get grant funding, it may just be for a project. So if Taiwan or the Republic of China and Taiwan is going to guarantee the grant funding for a particular project, then how can he get 25% of that? The project won't be completed. Or does he expect every project to be treated like the hospital wing at Alexandria? But in an effort to resolve this matter, the third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, approached the World Bank for recommendations and Brantley vehemently objected. Mashed up his government. He must by now understand it is better to be inside the government than to be outside. Because the World Bank report is with us for nigh 7 going on 8 months. Yet no resolution is in sight, or so it seems, my Stray Dog family. But yet, we as a people cannot get sight on this wonderful report. It's a secret.
Yes.
Having agreed, do you believe that report should be shared?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
I feel insulted, Ian, that my country is being discussed, which of my children and grandchildren discuss. And I don't know. I can't make a contribution. It's being treated like it's something precious that should be held close to the chest of only a few people. That does not make any sense.
No sense whatsoever, my Stray Dog family. Everything under this government is a secret. Secrecy is the order of the day. When will we change that outlook, my Stray Dog family? When? Is a question we continue to ask. My Stray Dog family, I came before you tonight as I wind down our program. I came before you tonight as a voice of conscience. My Stray Dog family, a voice of conscience, I say. And as a voice that echoes the just demands of many divisions and Kittitians as well, who have been for too long denied their rightful seat at the table where decisions are made. Decisions, I may add, of national importance. For decades, my Stray Dog family, for decades, 3 decades and more, the question of fair share has loomed large over our federation. And this question goes to the very heart of our unity, our democracy, and our dignity. It is a question that has remained unresolved. It is the question we now know led to the implosion of the team unity government, driven apart by internal strife, mistrust, and the persistent demand from Nevis for what it rightfully deserves. Equity in the distribution of national revenue, particularly from our Citizenship by Investment program. A program built not on the sweat of one island, but on the strength and stability of the entire federation. And now, with the new administration in place, one would think we had turned the page. One would have hoped, my Straight Dog family, for a new era of accountability, transparency, and inclusion. But instead, we are met with troubling words from a disgraced Attorney General of this land. A man sworn to uphold justice. A man who has declared on public radio that the people should not have access to the World Bank report that outlines, my Straight Dog family, outlines how the revenues of our federation ought to be shared. But as we wind down, I'll take a few more calls before we wrap, my Straight Dog family. I'll make this perhaps my penultimate call for the night. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patches, let me get a 1 minute back in, please. Nevis deserves its rightful share, fair share. That World Bank report, I'm just echoing what the former Premier of Nevis, Joseph Parrish, said the other night. That document should be made public. All party heads should have that document. That document should be released to the public. And as I listen to the AG Patches, they're chuckling in the studio, like as if they're laughing at us, the people.
Yes. And
McMahon was jamming down. And before I get off, Patches, McMahon, the AG, right, with that exchange with McMahon, I don't think he was really actually understanding what McMahon was saying. He refused to actually try to understand what McMahon was saying to him. He has displayed an elitist behavior, like he or they are better than us, the electorates that put them there. He did mention about the decision makers. Yes, we put them there as decision makers for us. And then they're going to turn around and disregard us, the electorates. This is why the people got to wake up and observe their behavior. So when next time come around, according to the AG's advice it himself, put that X and vote them out of there. Patches, lastly, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know if he was really listening to McMahon carefully, but he said he understood what McMahon was saying. Really, Patches, I don't believe he understood. McMahon introduced a word to him. Patches, there's a word that McMahon introduced. We didn't even pay attention to that word.
Sacrosanct?
Sacrosanct.
Yes.
Patches, man, you are on the ball. Yes. I hope that the listeners them took that word in and went to the dictionary and find out that meaning of that word. Sacrosanct. Yep. Patches, this is probably the first time I'm hearing that word. And I did my homework and I went to the dictionary. I'm coming with a different contribution second time around tonight. I went to the dictionary and looked that word up. It is saying in the dictionary, it's especially of a principle, a place, or a routine regarded as too important or valuable to be interfered with. That fair share arrangement by the Constitution or verbally by any one of these politicians, the real deal principle we're talking about is that, according to your thesis tonight, you're talking about fair share. This is the topic that's hitting the airwaves for days now again. the fair share issue, it is too important and valuable of a concept. It's a principle, it seems like to me. These guys don't have no morals. Parties of me and you going through a business arrangement based on what arrangement we made, we have to honor that arrangement. McMahon was trying to tell him that this issue is too important and valuable to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis for two persons to be hijacking that report and holding it ransom and having it underneath their bed away from the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis who have placed them there to be our decision makers. That's my contribution for the night, Patches. Thanks a lot for hearing me.
Sound contribution, my Street Dog family. And this is just for those who did not hear how he interrupted McMahon. Disgusting. But I share just some of it for you, my Street Dog family. Here's this.
I honestly feel that this is a recipe for continued problems, right? You can't have something as important as this being left to the vagaries of politics. Okay? You just can't.
What do you mean by politics in this context?
It's a recipe for confusion.
You listening? The AG has a question.
What do you mean by politics in that statement?
Okay, it depends on the outcome of elections.
Yes, but that's how the people choose. The people choose the decision makers.
But
so if they disagree,
You know that the Constitution isn't something that you just go and change willy-nilly.
No. But the Constitution is clear. What the Constitution says is that the Premier and the Prime Minister must agree on matters such as common services and allocations. So it means that if a Premier and a Prime Minister at a particular time in the history of a country agree on the allocations and the people do not agree with what they have agreed with, they can take it to a vote at the next election and reflect their disagreement with their ex.
That's the whole point, right? You can't have something dependent on things like the personal chemistry between the Premier and the
So who should decide then?
Minister.
Exactly.
Right?
What should it depend on?
Although they represent constituencies, right? What I'm saying is that there are certain things that should be held sacrosanct.
Okay, so it should be.
We have not guided by the provisions in the Constitution.
I understand.
Yes, my Street Dog family. Well said, Mr. Mac. There's certain things that should be held sacrosanct, sacred. Well. Read this email. This gentleman basically confirms what everyone suspects. These people have us as fools. I would like to believe that if it is our right to have matters raised in the public, especially very important ones, like sharing the earnings of a country, and how they have us for fools, we basically have no input to make. The experts have it figured out. Oh, please tell us, Mr. Liebert, does Attorney General stand for Attorney General or Almighty God? It's a very interesting question. Of course not. He is the devil. Lucifer is his name. And as we wrap tonight's program in my Street Dog family, the AG, I wanted to tell him tonight that there's the letter to the Constitution and there is a spirit to that Constitution. Caller, I'm winding down, but I'll take your call. Caller, you live.
You go right now, my brethren. Blessed night to the eye.
Blessed night to you. Ras Aya.
How you there was that? Now the Lord Almighty.
Peaceful, Ras.
Give thanks for life.
Yes.
And blessed night to your listeners. Well, me joyful, I see the moon And I see the heavens of the stars and everything that align with the heavenly bodies. So I'm thankful for life. Well, I would just really say a blessed night to your listeners. I heard you making reference about this indication towards the matter. What the matter really raising on CBI matter are you raising on now different level beyond CBI?
Invitation to what you said? To
you're outlining about some kind of sharing between things and news.
Well, the revenue sharing, the revenue that's collected by government to be shared on a per capita basis, based on your population, that the Constitution says revenue should be shared between St. Kitts and Nevis. There's a focus on CBI. Sorry, go ahead.
I think first we need to do is clean up the action of the because here you know that visitor on your program instead in his estimation become the institution what I call a constitution because a lot of candidates on here is fraudulent. You have a lot of loophole in it, and there is a lot of I think to create problem in the long run. Well, if that is the matter, why can't we sit down as proper man and woman? Because me not seen a lot of lads come make the change and let it give them really overs are really taking place in this kingdom that is governed by the law of the land to create betterment for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I realize not one of our politicians is driving to that matter there. Not one, even the former premier outright on your program last Thursday gone just there. I mean, Monday gone. And nothing like this is amazing onto your program tonight where you're putting out. And I find these things are being very disturbing because the people don't want to really stand up for what is right. Imagine a thing like this is occurring for over a period of time. Since in 1984, that's what the former premier said, from what the first premier of Nevis State, that in 1984, there was an issue that to pertain in acquiring some money towards for Nevis to start doing some physical attraction to develop Nevis. And there was discounted not to get that kind of money. They had to take it from as a loan. It's an embarrassment. And we say we are in partners at that time and to this time still. And we still seeing the same mess occurring amongst our people. Our politicians are not here to educate. I don't here to grab what I could grab for your personal gain. That's why we people are seeing these problems. We keep doing it over and over because we don't want to wake up and stand up for what is right. We're looking too much handle on here. It's time now to wake up and challenge these laws because if there is something said that there is a Freedom of Information Act and these people are not forthcoming with this information but keeping it in secrecy, you all are part of the Freemason standard. That's why I have too much secrecy on here. You have a blessed night, brother Scratchet. I don't know why I won't lock up all these dirty thief in politicians and all who are impact of the CBI program to creating problems among St. Kitts and Nevis people. You have a blessed night.
Have a blessed night, my straight talk family, and that's the way. We're gonna end it, and I just saw an email and I didn't even recognize. I only read part of the email, and I do apologize for that. Good evening, Patches. It says warm regards from Auckland. My Auckland email, and it says you can find a petition anywhere in the world, even down under. You are absolutely correct when you describe Attorney General Wilkin as disgrace, but I want you to know he is also a disgusting human being. In his total arrogance and belief in his privileged system that underpinned his actions in deducting monies from his nanny's meager wages for Social Security and then refusing to pay those over to the Social Security Board, he's no AG. He's nothing more than a common red-skinned jack donkey who Jew should have had the balls to fire if he was not such a coward jack donkey himself, my straight dog family. And I did not deliberately overlook that email. edit the email. I just didn't see that section of the email. But that's the way we're going to end it tonight, my Straight Talk family, for the emails. And just to say to the Attorney General and the cabinet he advises, the people should have access to the World Bank report that outlines how revenues of our federation ought to be shared. And let me be clear that it is not just wrong, it is offensive, it is undemocratic, it is dangerous. The Attorney General claims that because the Constitution grants the Prime Minister and the Premier the authority to determine how non-tax revenue like CBI proceeds are allocated, the people need not be consulted. But I ask you this, what is a constitution if not a living document made for and by the people? What is governance if it excludes the governed? Even if the Constitution assigns authority to leaders, that does not strip the people of their right to be informed, to be heard, and to be respected. Leadership is not a license for secrecy. Constitutional power is not permission to disregard the public stake in public wealth. Let us not forget, though the CBI program generates non-tax revenue, it is public money all the same. It flows from private enterprise. It shows not from private enterprise. I take that back. It flows not from private enterprise, but from the Federation's sovereign right, a right vested in all of us. Every dollar collected belongs to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, not one island, not to one cabinet, not to one man. And so the people have a right, not a request, not a favor, but a right to see that report. They have a right to scrutinize the recommendations that will shape the financial future of both islands. We understand their 4 recommendations. We want to see them. The people have a right to voice their concerns, to question the fairness of any proposal, and to demand justice where injustice has long prevailed. Transparency is not a burden. It is a duty. Accountability is not optional. It is essential. And consultation is not formality. It is the cornerstone of democracy. Tonight, I say this to Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. You may have quoted the letter of the Constitution, but we the people will invoke the spirit of the Constitution. You may advise the Prime Minister and his cabinet to withhold the World Bank report, but we will not be silenced. Not at all, Garth Wilkin. You may dismiss public consultation, but we will demand it. In town halls, in parliament, in the streets if necessary. The days of closed-door governance are over. The era of people-powered democracy is here. Let the report be made public. Let the people be heard. And let justice, not political convenience, let justice guide the path to a fair share, not just for Nevis, because it is a national issue. So we seek justice for St. Kitts and Nevis. We demand justice for all of us. We will not accept anything less. Not at all, especially when we have a disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin who offends the nation with his fair share comments. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers, those who just listen, those who send emails, and those who call. Remember, all of you, the viewers, the callers, the emailers, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I hear this. We go on a sabbatical until next week, Thursday. Yes, next week, Thursday. Because August Monday, Culturama is where the action gonna be. So come next Thursday, we will connect and reconnect with you on another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Do everything in moderation. Drive carefully, my Straight Talk family. The life you save may be your own. Do not drink and drive. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday. Next week, Thursday. It's a sabbatical on Monday. We come to you again next week, Thursday. Keep moving on, my Straight Talk family. Bye-bye.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep